With any new business app or platform, especially if it is affecting your business operations, you want to strategically approach it to mitigate any gaps that occur during the migration or transition of your platform. That's why I'm starting this video to help growing digital and creative agencies like yours shift without a hitch. So be sure to keep watching and I'll walk you through how to get started with Samepage for your agency with ease. Hey CEOs, I'm Teresa, Operations Consultant behind LoopLink, helping you complete the loop in your business operations and expanding your agency with excellence. I help agency owners like yourself shift from a CEO-dependent to a systems-dependent operations. And today, I'm going to help you walk through setting up Samepage so that you can start running your agency with ease tomorrow. So before we get into things, I want to provide a disclaimer that I am an authorized partner of Samepage, where if you were to click and subscribe through my link, I may make a kickback at no charge to you. But the biggest benefit, I'll be your customer success rep where I can help you integrate this tool into your agency. I'm a firm believer in maximizing and leveraging your tools to the best of their abilities. You will not know completely if a tool is effective or ineffective for your business unless if you have given it an honest and intentional chance to help you achieve your business operations and centralize your headquarters. So with that, let's dive into the first step. All right, step one is about mapping your infrastructure. When you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. It is more so in this case. It can be very tempting to jump in with both feet and just get to it. As easy as this platform is, when you spend a little bit of time to understand how to manage your client projects as well as your internal projects, it's going to fast track your implementation. So when you first create your account, you're going to create your organization. This acts as the brand or the business that you will be managing or operating under. Once you have created your organization, this is where the fun starts. Think about your internal and external projects, your major and minor projects. Not quite familiar with how to distinguish these? Well, let's walk through it. External projects is defined as your client work, collaborations, or joint ventures. They typically have an exchange of service where you have client fulfillment and deliverables. In other words, this is where you are working in your business. Internal projects, in my definition, are the projects that focuses on building your business from the inside out. They typically are projects with website development or hiring your next team member or transitioning to another CRM or project management tool. This is the work on your business. So let's talk about major projects. These are projects that could be internal or external and carry a ton of weight to them because there could be lots of impacts, high ROIs, and high costs associated with them. They could be major launches, major rebranding, or $1 million client project that has substantial moving parts. Either way, the parameters will usually be defined by you as the CEO and your team. All right, minor projects. Minor projects are the projects that typically have a start and end date. They have identified and intentional deliverables, whether they're client work or internal work, and it does not require a lot of resources to get it done. Now, you may be asking me, why do I categorize these types of projects in such a way? Well, back in my corporate days, when you have a lot of moving parts or a lot of transactions and activities going on, even though we were growing year after year, there wasn't a measuring stick that told us what we needed to know in terms of what clients we were attracting, what kind of work was being asked of us, and everyone was busy, but with what? So with categorizing and bucketing, we were able to provide quick analysis on the health of the business that allowed for us to plan our headcount and know when we would start reaching our resource capacity. Knowing what some of the flags and triggers ahead of time will allow you to start planning the actions so that you don't lose traction during a period of growth. All right, so step 2 is in setting up an everyone team. One of the first things that I do when I'm setting up a new workspace or a new tool in any business is a central start here place. Why is this so important? This allows an individual who has just freshly come on board with your team for your projects or for a collaboration for them to get acquainted with the tools and tech quickly. Usually I have the following created: a welcome page, it's a note from me as the CEO, a best practices page, all about teams, creating pages, inviting people, and just the dynamic of how to work within the tool and anything else that you may deem as a must know to get started with. So here's a few ideas of what you could have in this space and what the space could hold as well. Contractors onboarding packages, employee onboarding handbooks, front-facing operations, so this could also be your playbook, new team member training, and when new individuals get added to your space, you'll want to tag them to this team space to get them started on the proper direction. It typically will take an hour or less to dive into the pages, pending if you have any tutorial videos or just all text. The sky is limitless when it comes to what you want as your indoctrination documents. Now, as you're creating the space, if you're thinking, but Teresa, I don't have any content to put into the space yet. Don't worry, I got your back. I'll be sharing some links where you can add the content directly into your team space. All right, let's talk about step number 3. It's creating your templates. Now we're going to start stepping into the nitty-gritty of the foundations. If you're a seasoned agency, you should know what your workflow looks like already. There may be existing checklists, templates, documents, and resources that you use. If you don't, feel no shame. Now is the perfect time to get started with it. So let's get started with some of the basics of project management. So the easiest place for us to get started working first is on client projects and what this would really look like. One of the most common feedbacks I get from customer success teams is the lack of information transfer from the sales team to the ops team. And so to bridge that gap, we're going to need to clearly outline the best practices. So if you want to make it a staple or a standard that every client project should have a project summary. So in the project summary, this is where we're going to want to capture a few points, such as a little blurb about the client and what they're about. You're going to want to include some of the documents as needed, and then you're also going to want to include what are their existing challenges. What you're going to want to also include is what's in scope that was discussed with the client, include what's out of scope that was discussed with the client, and if you haven't, there could be some improvements in your sales conversations. You're going to want to include any additional clauses or commitments that was made to the client that the team must know about. Okay, I cannot stress enough about this point. Usually this is what creates and causes churn or rework because there's so many things that were promised in order to close the sale, but then it fails to make it to the team. This creates friction in both the clients and fulfillment team, as now someone will either have to reach out to the client to level set and realign with the whole scope, or drop any other work that they may be involved in right now to beat the deadline to fulfill it. So make sure you're always capturing those necessary points. And then you can also include some of the success metrics if you find it's going to be valuable. The second key template that you'll want to make in every project is to have, and regardless if it's an internal or external project, is a project plan. So typically this will include some of the following information: who's the project leads, the project sponsors, who's involved in the project, what kind of project is it? Is it billable or non-billable? Or is it an exchange of service? Under the project plan, I usually involve any workflows, whether it's onboarding or development. If you're closing the deal in another platform, you'll want to automate some of these with some key integrations that will identify which stage the project is at and whether or not most of the onboarding is complete. Now, keep in mind that onboarding isn't complete simply because you got a signed agreement and a first payment. Onboarding is complete usually when you've helped the client reach the first value, whether it's a milestone or something that they can find value in. So in the project plan, I will usually outline what the team is responsible for to create, what will be some of my own focus areas, and because my own specific focus is in the area of business systems and operations, I outline a standard list of systems that we may require access to. And lastly, I always include a section for files and important links. Then you'll want to go to the 3 dots on the right-hand side of the page and select a Create a Template. You're going to repeat this process until you've set up as many templates that you need for a team or a project. Keep in mind that you can always create templates on the go as you continue to build out your hub. All right, let's move on to step 4. We are going to set the best practices. The next thing that you're going to want to do as you set up your business space on Samepage is to determine what are the best practices and how to leverage them in your workspace. Why is this important? Learning how to use the tool is one thing, but learning how to strategically leverage it so that you know what are the next steps, how to cross over tasks, and how to hand off projects accordingly. This means that everyone who's a part of your Samepage organization should understand their roles and responsibilities and what they're accountable for in the platform. When new tasks are created, they should be created within a page. This allows collaborators to leave comments or to add comments on specific tasks. This will also build a journey or a roadmap to know what came before it and what should come after it. Teach your team the difference between an assignee and a participant. When should participants be included in on the tasks, and also the value of adding in sub-steps for checkpoint reviews. By clearly articulating what the workflow is, it will be easier to manage. So let's go to step 5, chats and collaborations. We're all used to chatting in various ways, and in Samepage, there are multi-levels of chats that can take place. So you can have direct chats, you can have team chats, and then you can have page chats. Now, when should you actually use these and what for? You'll want to use direct chats for the small nudges or non-project related updates such as lunch times, unavailability, or rescheduling. Team chats can be used to include everyone who is on the project and at high-level conversations, whereas page chats are more specific to the conversations around the task, project, or events. There may be many ways to the mountains, and they may not be the wrong way, but there could be efficient ways. Conversations can get real messy, real quick, and real fast. That's why part of the best practice should be that if you're starting to see the conversation veering off in the wrong direction, jump in on an audio or a video call quickly with the Samepage functions. This removes any roadblocks during the collaboration period and empowers the team to move efficiently and effectively together. Have patience, as this is an area that I would highly encourage to enforce because communication can be chaotic. And if you want to remain clear and concise, ensure all users of the chat functions abide by the best practices. All right, now you know how to get started with Samepage. I'm super excited to see how you're going to build out your hub to power your agency. If you do have any questions along the way, I'd be more than happy to help you out. All you need to do is simply book a free consult call with me through the link below. I'm going to leave my Samepage link below. If you do sign up through my link and become a pro user, you're also going to get an additional benefit. That's going to be me as your level of support. I will help you achieve successful implementation and integration to have your whole team and business leveraging Samepage. Do you have any questions on how to get started with Samepage? Leave your questions in the comments section below and feel free to book a consult call with me. If this video has been helpful, please be sure to subscribe and share with your friends, and hit the like button so I know to make more videos like this. I'm Teresa Beretta, Operations Coach Consultant, and I'll see you in the next one.